Good morning, Salome B here, and yes, that is Drake and Blackface. And as you see my cover, Blackface is something that non-black actors wore, and to the black community, when we see blackface, we find it highly disrespectful because it is how white folks mocked black people when they played black characters. They would put on blackface. And Pusha T, who is from Virginia, raised in Virginia, very smart, very knowledgeable of the history of black culture, because Virginia was one of the places where there were Republican blacks living here in the 1700s that did help foster this United States government, that did help in reshaping and helped in the reconstruction of the United States. So blackface is very disrespectful to us. So Pusha T's aim, and just believe this, if you are seeing this beef, do not look at hip hop beef. uh it's not it's not a violent beef. It's not like the Biggie and the Tupac beef, which was infiltrated by Los Angeles Police Department, who actually are responsible for the murders of Biggie and Tupac. And Suge Knight is responsible for Tupac's murder, even though they did not put that on him. His uh, his business practices had Tupac killed. His businesses practice had Biggie killed, because I'm gonna get on that in another session. In college, I had to study the case who killed Big, and I found some interesting information that I want to put out to the public. And we're gonna weigh, in conclusion, what was already put down, that the FBI basically knows who killed Biggie Smalls. They think that it's the Los Angeles Police Department. Anyhow, we've gotten off track. So hip hop is not violent beefs anymore. Now it's becoming our very intelligent and very ethnic and deep, and it's going back to its original creation, which is black culture, which is dealing with the Renaissance and just deep black culture. So now Pusha T comes out and slices the head of Drake off, because Drake is a millionaire. He has been, for the last couple of years. He's been taken over. Young Money has been taken over. And I do see what's going on, and I have been doing the research, trying to figure out the rap scene now, because it's pretty confusing to understand the inside or behind the scenes powers. Now that I see what's going on, I can really pull it to the front. Modern rap is coming to a close. We're going back to the real point of rap history, which is skills. Your writing must be yours, because in the Renaissance, that's what it was all about. With people like Duke Ellington and and all the jazz performers that were fighting on the line. Miles Davis, John Coltrane. This is artistry, and this is real musicians. So if you're not a real musician and you don't write your rhymes, you can't you can't really call yourself a real rapper, because rap stems from the Renaissance and blues, and it comes from all of that poetry, and it's deep black culture. And um, if you're not familiar with black culture, then you need to get familiar. Don't be like Chris, I can't even, I don't think his name. The comedian Chris, he said that he failed Black history. Yes, yes, he failed Black history. If you're a black person, you might want to get yourself some Black history and get it right. Get the beginning, get the story, and get the understanding, because what you're seeing now is the the white sheet has been torn off of the heads of Young Money and OVO, because they have been the face of this modern rap that we have, that's so disrespectful, that's so out of line. And when we look at Nicki Minaj and we look at Drake, we know that they're really not Americans. They are from other countries that actually um, don't really go through uh, the struggles that we go through here, and the blatant racism that have been said and done by some of the people that have been living here for years in America. And Drake cannot understand the black struggle, and he does not try to put himself in a place of understanding that. Nicki Minaj, she speaks out against women or whatever, but she's kind of like a walking contradiction because of the way that she dresses herself. She wears blonde hair, and she really doesn't really talk too much about black culture. She's on the surface of it. But I still remember when she disrespected Malcolm X with that whatever looking ass nigga, whatever. Anyway, Young Money's over. OVO is over. The team is over. They're done. Lil Wayne is a drug addict. I mean, shut it down. They're done. Pusha T has put the nail in the coffin. The funeral is now, the casket has dropped. Nicki Minaj is done anyway, and Pusha T has pulled a Remy Ma. He has gathered all information, and all information, which is the art of war, on his target, and he went after him, and he took him down. Drake will not be able to come back from this, and I say this. A lot of people are saying that, oh, well, it's not over. Drake's black card has just been pulled. And since he is a Jew and he's a biracial, his mother is Jewish. And when we talk about the minister Louis Farrakhan and all his 86 years, he has mentioned how the Jews run the government and how they have tried to turn the media against him. This is why Louis Farrakhan, in the black community, some of the black people in the community look at him as a sellout, because the media has actually brainwashed some of the black people into thinking that Minister Louis Farrakhan is not a valuable person in our community. And the Jews have done that for the last 50, 60 years to make the Nation of Islam and Louis Farrakhan look bad to us. And a lot, and when I hear people on the internet talking about him in that manner, calling him a coon or calling him a sellout, those are the ones who have been brainwashed by the media. Because when I was coming up, my father would make me get up and read Malcolm X, make me get up and read Black History, make me get up and, just read what's going on in the Black community and stay woke. He always woke me up to stay woke. You know what I'm saying? He always put something in my face to make me understand that you have a position to maintain your history and maintain yourself, which is self-preservation. So, anyway, Drake Drake is done. Everybody's saying no, he can come back from this. No, he should have never put blackface on. Blackface is what it is. It's a person who is portraying a black person, and this was done back in the day, in the early 1920s, 1930s, where white people would put blackface on to imitate black people, because black people could not be in Hollywood when segregation was there. Black people could not do their own thing. We had the Renaissance. That's when Marcus Garvey and Langston Hughes and all of those people came out and shaped our minds to understand and be proud of our heritage. And for Drake to have on blackface, that is a slap in the face to the black community. And Pusha T wants to destroy the female black fans that support Drake. And I think he has just done it, because my view, I like Drake from afar. I couldn't really like him as much because I don't know too much about his history. I know that he's a foreigner, so I couldn't really get that too close to him because he's a foreigner. I don't really know his history. I know that his mother is white and his dad is black, and he's biracial, which means he does not talk about too much racial issues, and he don't get into it too much about black history because he's probably questioning himself, which is what Pusha T has honed in on. See, Drake did come out at some point and talked about how he's not fully accepted here in America by the black community. And when Meek Mill said, "Oh, you're not a writer," and I think Nicki Minaj was behind that by giving that information to Meek Mill to discredit Drake, that Drake is still wounded from that. Now Pusha T has questioned his blackness by finding the picture in blackface, saying you are an enemy to black culture, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So this is how I am interpreting this picture. When you put blackface on as a person of mixed race and you're Jewish, and the Jews have been running the media for years until Donald Trump came on the scene. The Jews have been running FBI. J. Edgar Hoover was surveillancing the whole United States, including the police departments and including black organizations. So when you see Drake in blackface, it is a slap in the face. It's a reawakening of old wounds of what the Jews have been doing. And it also brings to mind what Louis Farrakhan was saying about the Jews in the 1960s, so on and so forth. So, do I think Drake's career is over? Yes, it is. Because even though he has a lot of money, he's going to have to take that money and he's going to have to do what Nicki Minaj is doing right now, was trying to regain her followers back. But she has done too much damage to even get people to want to listen to her anymore. She just dropped 2 releases, Chung Lee and all that, and she got a little bit of buzz, and everybody's like, okay, what's next? Bye, Nikki. You know, people's view of her is gone. Like Remy Ma has changed our view of her, and to me, she is a modern science project. She's delved in plastic surgery, which comes from the Chinese culture, because in China that's what women did. It's a whole culture, and now it's the culture now in America. Plastic surgery is the culture now amongst black women. Black women are doing this stuff to, and this actually is science experiment stuff, messing with your body and freak show stuff. So it's not, it's not normal to the black community for black women to be getting plastic surgery. That's just something that um, the white community would do because of the aging and the lack of melanin in their skin. It causes them to age severely and fast, so they have to participate in Botox injections and stuff like that to keep themselves and their appearance looking, you know, looking presentable, because they age. The sun makes them age really quick. Someone white, by the time they turn 27, they look like they're 40 something. So that's the properties of aging. But as a female fan, that I was a fan of Drake, I'm not anymore. Because now, he came out today and he said that, this picture was him and his African friend were wearing this blackface and wearing the Jim Crow t-shirt for a statement of what black actors go through and how they are treated, and how it's a hard time for them to get jobs and work in the acting business. But my thing is, he should have been explaining this, knowing how black people are about their culture. We love our culture and we wear it as a badge of honor. So anybody that's in the culture that disrespects it in any way, and Pusha T as an investigator has pulled this up. I didn't never see this picture. I never knew this picture was around. Now that this picture has been introduced, this questions and pulls Drake's black card. All the jokes are being told. Charlemagne yesterday said, we gonna suspend Drake's right to say nigga until we can figure out what's going on. Black card has been pulled. You know what I'm saying? He's not invited to the cookout. Like, he's been X'd out. And anyway, so Pusha T, being from Virginia, we all know here in Virginia what it is like with biracial people, because here in Virginia, biracial people is a big thing here in Virginia. It has always been a big thing, or a big part of the history, because during the First World War, before World War One, blacks and whites were mixing together, and the government were having a problem with that. So they wanted to stop it. So they started to make laws to separate race, and they came with the segregation of where whites could not date blacks. They came with these laws separating these people because of the biracial children. And Virginia studied it and said, well, the biracial children were being born out of wedlock. And Pusha T, when he rapped his response to Drake, he said, he questioned Drake's um he questioned his blackness, because then when you go back and look at the biracial issue, that was the problem Virginia was having with biracials, where they were confused about their identity. So Pusha T brought that to the forefront, saying that your fro wouldn't nap enough. I know you have an identity crisis, because in the black community, when biracials are born in the black community, some of them, or majority of them, do come down with identity crisis, because you're dealing with two races now. Like, someone who's just straight black does not have to deal with the fact that they have to accept two cultures. You only have one culture when you're just black. But when you are two races, like Drake, he's a Jew and he's black, he's have to accept the modern culture of the so-called Jews and not the real black Jews. And then he has to accept that he has a white mother, and he has three cultures that he has to actually embrace, and that can cause identity crisis. So Pusha T took the head off of Drake, and I'm explaining it the best way that I can. At first I wasn't even going to blog on this, but when it turns to a black thing and blackface, I have to get up, roll over, and turn my phone over and start talking, because then and there, that's where I'm at with it. Like, Drake is done. The female fans are not, I don't know how they're going to take it, because Pusha T also brought up the fact that Drake is not taking care, or he's hiding a child. And he knows that the female fans are going to have a problem with that, because in modern time right now, that's what black women are having a problem with, where black men are um, denying children that they have with them. All, and not just black men. There are a lot of men that are doing this, that are trying to be deadbeats actually, and denying having sex with women that they know they done slept with, and getting them knocked up. Then they want to hide the pregnancy, because the woman that they was dealing with, the status that she was in. Maybe she was a prostitute, maybe she was a whore, maybe she was a stripper, and that doesn't look good to someone who has millions of dollars and a career. You know what I'm saying? So this is my vlog and my view of this beef. I just think Drake is done. Even though Drake spoke about the blackface and what he was doing, and how it represented how black actors had issues with getting parts and all of that, blackface, what is the wrong idea, and it does not fit the explanation that Drake gave us. Blackface is what white people would wear back in the day, because black actors were not on the scene. So they would mock black actors and imitate black actors, because when Jim Crow laws were in effect, blacks could not be on the screen of Hollywood. So they would dress themselves up as black people and mock them and play black roles. And that was very disrespectful. And to see Drake with blackface on is disrespectful to me. And no, I don't want to listen to anything else that he has to say. I might, if he says something, I might see an interview, but in the back of my mind, I'm going to say, no, you're confused and you need to go and redeem yourself. And I don't know how much money it's going to take for you to uplift families, or whatever, however much money you give to right this wrong. Being in blackface is not going to right the wrong. Since that picture is on the internet, it will forever pull Drake's black card. Like, share, subscribe. Salon B. Have a great day.